What's up, guys? This is Zach here as a host of the PBL podcast. I know you're used to hearing Evan and Dan. I think our forefathers of PBL podcast will be with us later on, but right now you're stuck with me.
We commandeered it.
Yes, we did commandeer it, and you just heard
It's ours now.
Zach. So obviously joining me is Zache or Zach. I think outside of the league, I am now comfortable with calling you Zach, but inside the league, you are still Zache.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
I'm responsive to both.
and you now just heard the third member of today's little episode is Raul, coach of the Ludicolos.
Hey,
so
you guys don't mind if I just butt in, do you?
Our little trio here is going to bring a little news update to all of our beautiful viewers, aka all of our members and like one other person.
Swagmaster 76.
Yes,
Swagmaster 76, man. I'm telling you.
I've got at least one friend who keeps up with it, and I think I have two who follow the Twitter. Which shout out to the Pokemon Battle League Twitter. Go ahead and give that a follow.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our PokeTuber impression. Make sure to sucker punch that like button.
Oh god.
Anyway,
Go ahead and Giga Impact that like button.
Don't forget to focus bless that heal bell notification.
Yeah,
I don't know, that
ring,
was bad.
Ring the heal bell.
That was bad.
So last time we were on the channel, I think we were in playoffs of season 3 of the PBL. I think a couple of people still have not finished the commentary for the finals match, so people are in limbo on that.
Yeah, dude.
That's
No
what
one
I
will
was
ever
gonna
know.
do. That's what it was. I was gonna upload. I was gonna do that commentary tonight because I haven't done it. But I also have the legendary trombone commentary.
Oh
I
no.
recorded the commentary next to a dude playing trombone the whole time.
Oh, that's
that one was actually not on purpose.
fantastic.
It was just.
Do you think
He was
Swagmaster's
dead.
just waiting?
Yeah, we're gonna keep.
He's like, God, when is it happening?
Constantly hitting the
Happened in
refresh button.
finals."
We're just gonna keep them
any
in.
day.
The best part is we're gonna keep them in suspense and just move on to the next event. So, season 3 is done.
That like button.
Season 3 is done, and we are actually now in season 3.5 is what we're calling it tentatively. This is just going to be a short mini season trying out a new format. So we're going to be doing GBA tiers, which is something we have not done before, but I think it's something a lot of us are excited about.
Throw a link in the description. Who's got control of this? Nick, put a link in the description.
Yeah,
Nick.
Throw it in there.
Come on, Nick.
Um,
You're the commissioner, Nick.
So actually the draft has already happened, and we are here to talk about all of the teams and week 1 matchups. So just to get straight into it, we're going to
draft review.
Yeah, post-draft review. We're going to throw up this beautiful graphic that was made for us by Jacob, coach of the Stantlers.
Hi, Jacob.
And I think we're just going to stop wasting time and jump into talking about teams. So I'm actually going to open the floor to you guys. Should we be civilized people and go through these teams in order as they appear on the screen, or should we just drive everyone crazy and pick them in random orders?
You know what? Let's do it in random
If
orders.
we don't go through them in order on the screen, I will lose what place I'm in.
You know what? I want to
Okay.
be
I will
evil
not
for a
know
second,
where
but
I'm
then
at
he
if
makes.
we don't do them in order.
Okay, we'll do them in
he makes
order
a lot of
then.
sense.
Fine. So we'll start with the Quillfishes, and I'm gonna zoom in on this team here. I'm gonna actually zoom in a little better. There we go.
Gonna use my scope lens.
So who wants to start off their thoughts on Ian and the Quillfishes?
I've got thoughts.
Okay, go Zache.
I've got thoughts. So this is fun because if we remember last season, Ian had an interesting draft process that led to an interesting team. So I think he put a lot more thought into this, especially because he had the number 1 overall pick. And he did what I think is a great draft strategy, especially for a format where we're not using all the Pokemon, so you've really got a lot of potential. And it's instead of drafting best available, he drafted specifically for a format. He and I actually discussed team build a lot. And I had told him to take Caesar over Mew was the second pick he was going with. And he's like, Mew's good, you can just do so much with it. I was like, yeah, but the team you want has Caesar on.
Yeah.
So that's the big standout to me is it's a much more cohesive team than he had the past season. And it's got a lot of threats on it. Mega Caesar is pretty hard to check, especially with the Megas we picked in this game. There's a handful of them that can check him. Honestly, Mega Manectric is one of the best checks with Intimidate and access to either Overheat or Flamethrower.
Yeah.
Mega Camera can take a hit and then obviously obliterate it with any fire move.
It doesn't matter how much...
I think Mega Charizard is similar. But after that, Scizor can go toe-to-toe with just about any Mega in the league. And you can run it offensive, you can run it defensive. It's just such a versatile and powerful Pokemon.
Absolutely.
I love it as a pick.
I was actually looking at taking Mega Caesar if I could, and then Ian told me he was taking it, so I was like, well, I'll throw that out the window and I'll just take a regular Caesar, I guess. Because
regular Caesar is so good too, though.
Yeah, so even with the 4x fire weakness, that's your only weakness, and you can account for it. And Mega Caesar is actually so bulky that Hidden Power Fires won't KO a Mega Caesar if you invest it correctly. So, I think it's a really good team. You can see right off the bat these first 3 picks, he's built a very fast Steel Dragon, like a real quick Steel Dragon Fairy Core. He's got solid priority moves. He's got Fat Mons. Comfey is an entire priority move in itself.
Comfey, yeah.
Comfey is
that's a value pick right there.
I was gonna actually draft Comfey during the when I had last season 3, because I needed like a different mon. I forgot what mon I replaced, and because of the ability.
You didn't have any good fairy mons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nope, not one at all.
Nope.
We're not gonna. Nope, we're not even gonna talk about it. But I forgot what Comfey's ability is, where like
triage
moves are like
triage. Any healing move gets priority.
I think that's beautiful.
It's not just priority; it's +3 priority. So it's
+3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like absolute priority.
It's quick. It's like super quick now.
One thing.
Yeah, that's
so yeah. Obviously, Ian has given a lot of thought to build this team, and it's a really good team. If I had to nitpick anything, I would say that he doesn't have any earthquake resistance other than Mesprit. But he has Fat Mons that can take earthquakes, I guess. There's just no resist.
Caesar, Garchomp, Conk can all take an earthquake, but there's no guaranteed ground resist in general.
Yeah.
Besides, like you said, Mesprit.
So like a Dan with like a Banded or a Swords Dance Excadrill out, he's gonna start just earthquaking things.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Ian's team. I don't want to spend too much time on it because we have 13 other teams to get through. So.
Oh yeah.
That is true. I forgot about that.
A good team, Ian. You did great.
Comment on it, Kamala.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited. I want Kamala to be the kill leader. If Kamala's not the kill leader, Ian owes me $10. You heard it here first.
Yeah, honestly,
Put that in the thumbname, Nick.
Quote him. Okay, let me do a quick review on this team real quick. At first, I really didn't like how he picked Mega Caesar because I'm 4x weakness. But after I heard you guys' comments about how well it can be really good, maybe it could be actually pretty scary. I love Conkeldurr. Really good mon because of guts and like how much it hits.
Mm-hmm.
He took one of my favorite. One of my picks I had it drafted on my paper, Arcanine, because Arcanine's a really good fire type Pokemon. And I see he also picked Jolteon. Now, Jolteon's
value
pretty good.
Coco.
Yeah, we're talking value here.
Yep, value Coco.
And does that mean that Raichu is value Jolteon?
What about Raikou? Where does he fit in?
Is
Raichu's like the foreign brand.
Is Raikou like the same tier as Jolteon
like the
though?
Target brand.
Let's see. You know what? Who will be a Walmart? But you know what? Yeah, we're getting out of hand. We're getting off subject.
We really do have 13 more teams to go through. So.
That's all the things I could think about Ian's team. Ian's team looks pretty good right now. Like he took really a lot of thought on this, and Ian, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, speaking of the Arcanine that you mentioned, Ian actually mentioned that he would rather have an Entei over an Arcanine, and the team that actually has Entei is the Furos here. So, The Fearos are sitting here with a pretty spooky team themselves. They obviously have that Entei I mentioned. They do have Mega Pinsir, who is always threatening, and Landorus T. Whenever you have a Mega Pinsir, it is important that you can keep rocks off of your side of the field.
He's got a couple of good defoggers. At least Landorus can defog.
Yeah.
I believe Sigilif can defog.
Yeah, so Landorus and Sigilif, I believe, are his only hazard removers. But, I mean, saying only is a little misleading because they're still really good. Sigilif doesn't even take damage coming in on rocks, which makes him a really good defogger. But, yeah. So, any thoughts on the Fearos team here?
There's a lot of power on this team.
Yes, there is.
I'm actually looking forward to how they're going to use Hoopa Unbound, because I had Hoopa Unbound Season 3, and let me just tell you, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, man. I could have done better.
Yeah.
Maybe they can do a little bit better this time.
I'm constantly disappointed by Hoopa Unbound.
Yeah, it's just so tough.
I've never been able to find success with that Pokemon, so good luck to you. I've never been able to.
I'm very interested
with it.
I'm very interested to see if he makes Hoopa Unbound his Z captain, because there are sets that are fairly popular where you can like Z trick with Hoopa, and you basically get an agility off of it, and you make him faster, which is one of his problems, is that he's slow and has no physical defense.
That's scary.
One thing I do notice is that he does have a lot of power, but a lot of the power is on the physical side. So Hoopa U might have to be special, if you want some kind of balance in terms of that. But one thing I want to I want to see Kecleon do work. Similar to
Kecleon is such an interesting mon.
Similar to Komala, I want to see Kecleon show up one match and just dominate.
I actually want to see Alolan.
Yeah, Alolan will be fun too.
I love it. I love its design. Okay,
I'm to the next team? So yeah, Fearos. I'm a fan of the team. Got to make sure you keep rocks off for Mega Pinsir.
Yes.
Lots of power.
If you keep those rocks off of him,
don't run into a physical wall.
Yeah. Oof. Physical wall will be rough.
Some of them though, there's things you can to go backtrack. We'll get a feel for pacing eventually.
Yeah.
I'm thinking physical walls. One of the best ones I see in this league is on the Typhlosions. We have Celesteela.
Yeah.
Which can be countered with a Alolan Golem, but then things like Hippowdon, I'm not sure there's a Hippowdon answer on this team outside of Vaporeon.
Yeah.
But even that, Vaporeon's not that powerful. So I would definitely maybe look into something that can stop the bulkier ground types.
Absolutely.
Now we can move on. The Pikipeks.
Ah, yes, the Pikipeks.
So I want to start with the Pikipeks. I know we're all looking at one Pokemon on this team that's just a huge question mark. And I'm just going to address it now.
Salamence.
Why would you take Salamence when you already have Pikipek in the back, man? What's the point?
Yeah, dude, come on, man. Dude, come on. Like, that's like a rookie mistake, bro.
Salamence is not even that cute. Pikipek is very cute. To me, it is one of the cutest Pokemon.
Have you seen Salamence's shiny? Disgusting.
Also, I just want to say, only one of those Pokemon get Stab Brave Bird. So, just throw that out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on.
The rest of this team, Regice is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I used that when we did our monotype tournament, and I used an all-ice team.
Oh, man. How fun was that?
It was fun. I think I could do better with that. I think now.
I think you can, too.
But I like Regice. I think Regice is actually, it's a funny pick, but it's pretty good. It's got 200 special defense.
Yeah.
It still has 100 defense. It's slow, but it's got 100 special attack, so it can hit pretty well. And it gets access to moves like Rock Polish, and I think it may get. I don't think it gets Calm Mind. I don't remember.
I can look at it right now, actually.
It does get Explosion, though.
It does. Yeah, to go off of its 50 base attack. But Regice, it has
no Calm Mind for Regice.
With Bolt Beam, no Calm Mind. Okay.
No Calm Mind.
Not yet.
But it's got bolt beam coverage, it gets focus blast, and it can just eat attacks. The boy eats. Soul Rock, I honestly don't know what Soul Rock does.
I could not tell you what Soul Rock does either.
Praise the sun,
I
I guess.
used that Pokemon in my life.
I'm gonna look at Soul Rock stats right now.
Solrak. Oh, dude, I love that name already.
So he's got 70 speed, 90 HP, 95 attack. His defenses are 85 and 65. Levitate is the only thing he can have. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Jake does with the Soul Rock this season.
I also like Mega Blastoise.
Yeah, so one thing I was going to note that Jake does have some pretty fat Pokemon as it is, and then he also has Aurora Veil on the team.
Alolan Ninetales, so...
So just like...
Yeah, Toxapex behind Aurora Veil makes me want to throw up.
I was just going to say that. I want to like puke with Toxapex.
Yeah.
Shout out to him digging Toxapex to respect Amber, though.
Yeah, that was fair. I thought it was good. The funny thing is, like, we left Toxapex until like the 10th round or something. 9th round is when he took it.
10th round.
Like no one wanted to touch that Pokemon. Nobody wanted to touch it. But yeah, Jake.
This team is there's some powerful hitters. Salamence can always do work. Heatran can always do work. Heatran and Toxapex kind of cover each other well if you have a ground immunity, and he's got a handful of ground immunities.
Yeah.
Which is good because the rest of his Pokemon all have a pretty significant ground weakness.
Yep.
Mega Blastoise I actually drafted last year and never used. I ended up trading it for Ash Greninja, which is the funniest trade in the existence of history.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. I wonder who would be dumb enough to do that.
I think Mega Blastoise is a good pick, though. I like Mega Blastoise a lot.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of bulk. It's got a pretty cool ability and pretty cool moves to pull off with that. It definitely got shafted in terms of the Generation 1 Megas because the other ones are fantastic.
Absolutely.
But I think for a lower tier Mega, I like Blastoise, and I think it works well on this team.
One of the big things for Mega Blastoise on this team is it's one of his only hazard removers that wants to be a hazard remover. Because like Salamence is a defogger, but are you going to bring defog on Salamence?
Technically.
No.
I mean, Pikipek is also a defogger.
Yeah, and Rotom-Mow. Those are his hazard removal. So I think Mega Blastoise will find a spot on the team pretty consistently. But moving on to Porygon Z, I'm actually not even going to say much about this. Zache, you go off about your team.
Okay. This team is, in my opinion, my favorite team in the league, I would say.
Wow.
So I was really excited that I was able to get Jirachi and Tapu Bulu, because that's a pairing I really like together because it eliminates one of Jirachi's big weaknesses in ground, and then of course they both have a fire weakness, but Rotom Wash and Mega Camerupt kind of account for that, giving you a nice pivot between them. So it's kind of built around... It's a team that is supported well by Tapu Bulu. I have a couple ground weaknesses on here that are just eliminated in Mega Camerupt, in Raikou, and Empoleon in Jirachi. So that cuts a huge part of what would make my team weak. Breloom will benefit hugely from Tapu Bulu with Bullet Seed that just does a stupid amount of damage. My two ground types are Mega Camerupt and Zygarde 10%, whose ground moves are not affected by the grassy terrain.
Yep.
And the rest of the Pokemon I picked are just kind of... Honestly, they're just sponges. Dredagon, Clefairy, Togetic,
Clefairy.
Empoleon, all...
Ultimate sponge.
They can just take hits and maybe do something back, but they're good pivot picks to let the rest of my team come in and do some work.
Yeah, Clefairy is a champion. So
Clefairy's a champion. Togetic, we'll see what Togetic does. I think it can be silly.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I think you're gonna run into a lot of people that are running. They're gonna run different ground moves. You're gonna make people not run Earthquake. So it'll be interesting.
Good.
Yeah, you're looking at your team and I'm
You're
like,
gonna make them run stomping tantrum or something along those lines to avoid earthquake reduction.
You ever seen the animation for that?
I actually have not. So
It's like a toddler.
I think you have a really solid team. That goes without saying. The fire weakness is covered pretty well. I
picked one legendary steel type.
Only one.
Only one.
So yeah. So Raikou actually has no worries in the world if earthquake is reduced. So it's really nice.
Right. Exactly. I liked him. I wanted him last season. I think it's a good mon. It's fast. It hits pretty hard. And yeah, without the earthquake weakness, it can do a lot. It can calm mind. It can run a choice set. You can probably run assault vest on. You can run assault vest on pretty much any offensive mon and just make it a silly surprise set.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I'm excited to see what I can do with this team.
Question: is your strategy with Jirachi? Are you just gonna constantly just keep on using Iron Head until like you just have a flinch fest?
Yeah. I'm only gonna use Body Slam and Iron Head, and the rest of my team is all gonna be running Thunder Wave.
Don't forget.
Dude, okay.
I'm gonna time out every battle with para flinching.
Don't forget, you can also
strategy right now.
You can also run Heart Stamp, which is also a 60% chance to flinch over Zen Headbutt.
I feel like messing it up a little bit, you know.
I heard Nick really loved this strategy. Moves. Nick said, if you were to ever 1v1 him, you should try this out because he says that he has a way of like somehow getting out of the situation. He said he loves it, so bring on the challenge.
Yeah.
All right, put that in the thumbnail, Nick.
So next, we're gonna swiftly move on to the next team. This is Typhlosions. This is a newcomer, Greg, who was Evan's friend and joined the league to try out this little mini season. And I think off the bat you can tell that Greg had done his homework and really wants to perform in this off-season event. So his team looks good. As former owner of Megalop is very good. It's so good.
Former teammate. They're not our slaves.
Oh wow.
Former coach of Megalop. Yeah, she's very good. Zache is former coach of Celesteela, so he took two of the big boys from our teams and made them join forces.
He's actually got 4 Pokemon that were on the Porygon Zeds last year, with Celesteela, Mamoswine, Galvantula, and Tentacruel. But, Mamoswine and Tentacruel were never there at the same time. I traded Tentacruel for Mamoswine.
I mean, Tentacruel was on my team originally. Yeah. And he has my Sceptile and my Megalop. Or, sorry, not mine. I don't own them. My former players. So, yeah.
He took a lot of notes from the
finals
last year. He only watched the finals match and was like, I'm going to use all of those Pokemon.
I think he really did dip into versatility. So Silvally and Oricorio are absolutely versatile picks. That's why they're there.
Ditto also provides you with like quasi-versatility depending on the opponent's team.
I really love the Pokemon that you actually have for this team. I love Mimikyu, and I'm loving Mamoswine. And Ditto was on my draft list because Ditto can be really, really scary.
Absolutely. Ditto is solid.
Because like someone could be just setting up on you and boom, like all that hard work just went out the window.
Yeah. So
now you out.
One thing is, I think, just looking at it right now, I think his only stealth rocker is Mamoswine. So if he's setting up hazards, he's relying on sticky webs and toxic spikes, I believe. Unless he's running stealth rock Mamo. So that's one thing to point out.
Hazard removers.
Yeah, he's got a few ways to remove them.
He's got a lot, yeah.
But setting them up himself, he doesn't have a whole lot. He's got sticky webs, toxic spikes, and then stealth rock on Mamo maybe. So we'll see how he does. I want to see if he can find a way to utilize Unburdened Sceptile without terrain. I'd be very interested in that. I always like seeing like how to make these little the little low tier guys do work. It'd be hilarious. Like you could run a red card on Sceptile or something one week and have some fun.
If Sceptile was bigger, you could use my favorite item, the weakness policy.
Yeah,
But
honestly.
I don't I don't know if Subtile would survive to use a weakness policy.
Maybe a special attack, maybe.
Probably barely. Like,
But if it did after that with Unburden, that would be so deadly.
Absolutely. I mean, you could invest it to make it bulkier if you're counting on that. But
right.
We're just gonna move on though, just because we're over 25 minutes in and we're not even halfway through the teams. So.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yes.
Sneasels. I'm just gonna give my 2 cents on the Sneasels right now. I think his team is bad and ugly because it has a Rakwanid on it. So.
Aww.
See, Araquanid makes me think that it's a good and pretty team.
No, I think it's disgusting.
What's that noise? Sorry.
The noise is probably the guitar in the background.
No, I heard. Aww.
On a serious note, P2 and Kofagrigus is a really good defensive core. They cover each other well, normal and ghost. I'd say the only thing he'd have to watch out for is a knockoff coming, which Mega Tyranitar is a really good switch in for a knockoff. Or Granbull even is a decent switch in for a knockoff. So
Zapdos, if you're carrying static on it, is usually something to help defer knockoff a little bit.
Yeah.
If you really, really want to avoid the paralysis. Zapdos is one of my favorite mons in the league. I have wanted Zapdos for 2 years and never found a way quite to get him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think every team that has Zapdos is always better for having Zapdos. I don't think he ever makes a team worse. And I think Evan drafted a lot of Pokemon that kind of fit that way, where it's like, what can I add to my team? Oh, Nidoking fits in. Oh, Espeon fits in. Oh, Infernape. They're just very good Pokemon that kind of fill out a team. So there's no like specific, this is the threat on the team. Everything can do a little bit of a lot of things. So it really gives him a lot of leeway to play around with what he brings, and it'll make predicting his team very difficult, I think.
Yeah, I think he's gone for a different kind of versatility to Greg. So Greg's versatility is like changes in typings and things like that, while Evan's versatility is you never really know what side of the spectrum his team is going to be hitting on and things like that. Infernape was his first pick, showing that he really valued the versatility of an Infernape. And I guess he was a late pick in the first round, so he felt like he wasn't missing out on anything big by taking Infernape first, so I can respect that.
Yeah, you don't have to reach. You can just take something that you know you like.
So yeah, as always, Evan's team is solid. We'll see how he does with it. Mega Tyranitar, I never saw him as a Mega Tyranitar guy. He usually likes to be someone that comes out and just hits you immediately right away, which Mega Tyranitar can do, but he's not that fast. You might need a Dragon Dance before he really starts going.
Yeah, we're going to see what he can do. I'm pretty sure he has some tricks up his sleeve.
I want to see a physical Nidoking come out at some point in time.
He's got better attack than he does special attack.
Yeah, he does.
Someday.
And you can really make it work. Life Orb, Sheer Force, physical attacker. But we're gonna move on to the Scythers. This is Nick's team. I'm just gonna throw out there that Nick's number one pick, the first pick he made for this draft, was Ninjask.
Ninjask? That was his first pick?
Yeah, that was his first pick.
Yeah.
He was very dedicated.
He was very excited to announce it.
He was so excited. He was very dedicated to the Ninjask. So yeah, this guy all the way down here. It was his very first pick on the list, and then he took Necrozma, of course, which is then Necrozma is an understandable pick at that high.
He had the
don't sleep on Ninjask.
Last pick in the round, so he got the snake pick, so he knew he could guarantee Necrozma if he picked Ninjask first and get a couple laughs.
I think he could have guaranteed Ninjask in most of the rounds. I think, especially considering
he could have picked Ninjask last overall. Yes, it would have been fine.
Especially considering I don't think anyone even took Scolipede.
Wow, yeah, whoa! Why is everyone sleeping on my favorite bug boy?
And everyone was so worried about Scolipede. Anyway, Nick is aware of this problem on his team. He has 5 psychic types on this team.
Yeah, holy.
None of which have any resistance to ghost typing. Oh, maybe Mr. Mime does. Does Fairy resist Ghost? Oh boy.
No, Fairy doesn't resist Ghost.
Okay, so yeah.
What about Bug? Does Bug resist Ghost?
Bug does not resist Ghost.
No.
All right. Well, it looks like Nick's gonna have a really good time
So
with this team.
Nick's already looking at fixing this team, I'm pretty sure. I don't really want to talk about it too much because he might change this team up. Buzzwole, I really like. He's super bulky, and he can actually be very good defensively. It's actually surprising.
He's super fat, yeah.
Let's see, Mega Slowbro. Nice, I like that.
Yeah,
Did you talk about how you were going to choose Mega Slowbro, Zache?
What I was gonna do is if I got the first pick overall, I was gonna pick Slowbro again with the first pick.
Oh.
Another thing I have for Nick is who's removing his hazards. Starmie?
Starmie is his spinner, and
does Ninjask his defogger?
I don't think Ninjask is a reliable defogger.
Yeah, I know. When you come in and take 50%, you're probably not a good defogger.
You get 2 defogs, or maybe 3 with the
one defog.
So Starmie is his spinner, and then that's the end of the conversation. So
yeah,
but I will say this: Ninjask. I wouldn't try to like fall asleep on it because I could see like some setup he's gonna do with it. I'm pretty sure it's a very common thing for everyone using a Ninjask, for like speed boost and whatnot.
Yeah. He can SD. He can run Adamant since he's so fast. That's what Ian's been yelling. He can run Adamant every week. So, so he's so much faster than everyone else. He can basically run Adamant almost every week and get some sword stances up and stuff. So
watch out, very fast Mega Slowbro.
Well, yeah, he could pass speed to his Mega Slowbro. That'd be really interesting. That's one of the rule changes for us doing this GBA thing, that you can pass speed as long as you are not passing other stats with it. So he could get a few speed boosts and a substitute and then pass it to Mega Slowbro or something. Be interesting.
All right, next team?
Next team is the Stantlers, which is Jacob, who is just...
Hello, Jacob.
Jacob, I think, is the king of giving people headaches.
Yes, he actually is.
I still have a headache from Jacob.
I see 2 of his mons that I'm just annoyed with already. Actually, what?
The biggest headache last season were Mew and Smeargle, and here they are on the same team with the same coach. So,
but wait, this time they brought a friend.
Klefki.
And you know who? Yep, Klefki. God, everyone loves Klefki. Remember? I like how everyone was making
Zoroark.
Yeah, and Zoroark, which is more mind games.
Just about every tricky Pokemon you could get.
Jacob, is there something that we done to you, man? Is there like anything you want to talk about? But all jokes aside, very, very, very clever, very sneaky. His team can be.
I'm just gonna say there's definitely not a giant earthquake weakness like Dan's team. Definitely not.
No, not at all.
No,
throwing it out there.
You should not worry about earthquake ever.
Not at all. So Jacob is aware that he does not have an earthquake problem, and he is fine. So,
although I do really think he should acknowledge his massive Mamoswine problem.
He does have a massive Mamoswine problem.
If you're listening to this, it is a massive Mamoswine problem. Talk to Evan about that one.
Man.
Mega Sceptile I like, although it does not like Mamoswine.
Massive Mamoswine problem.
Yeah, if I didn't get the Mega I wanted, Mega Sceptile was probably next on the list just to play around and have some fun with it. So, Jacob's team...
Yeah, Mega Sceptile is fun because it's so stupid fast.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. If you don't have any kind of speed control, that boy will sweep you straight out just because you can't touch it.
I also want to see him run Swords Dance physical sets. Honestly.
Yeah. You know what, Jacob, go for it, man. Do it.
Because Mega Sceptile gets
definitely will.
Mega Sceptile gets Elemental Punch. It gets Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Leaf Blade, lots of fun stuff. So
Outrage, my least favorite move in the game.
Yep, Outrage. It's better. He doesn't get Draco, so I mean, I think
it's a good set.
Yeah. As always, same with.
Go
Go ahead.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
To me, I think it's obvious who Z Captain's going to be. I think I would use it on Mew.
I don't know about that.
Season?
But he might, like I said, he might just choose someone different.
In terms of Z Captain, I think it might be Smeargle. Because Smeargle can do a lot of utility Z moves. Mew, if he wants...
I think it might be Gliscor, just because I want to have a dissenting opinion.
Fair enough. It'll be Gliscor. Jacob, put your crystal on... put your Z crystal on Gliscor, man.
Do it.
We would never expect it.
All right.
No one, not even I.
Moving on from him, Raul, you've got your little podium. You can talk about your team now.
I just picked only the one that looked very cute and had the great color scheme. No,
that's why you picked Ferrothorn, right?
Yes.
Yes. And look how cute it is. It's just saying I'm very aggressive. Once you get to know me a bit more, I'm more of a softie inside. But all jokes aside, so I tried a little different play style for this little off-season thing, because I think I couldn't really do really well what I did last season, because we all saw how well that went. I had a very predictable mind, and I think I had to change it up.
I'm just gonna throw it out there that Kokolucha is predictable. So
that's the most predictable set in OU right
now. It is. But what you gonna do about it?
I got ideas.
Yeah, people have ideas.
I'm pretty sure.
Especially people that can set their own terrain have ideas.
So what I try to make a little bit more like what's the words I'm looking for? Sorry, man. I should have wrote this down. I tried a little different. The reason why I chose Mega Altaria, I probably butchered that. Sorry. Altaria.
You did. Just confirming that you did butcher that name.
I like its typing, Dragon Fairy. Very good typing, and if I can set up with it, it's pretty much like a very, very scary mon.
Yep.
Tapu Koko is very good for electric terrain, pivoting, and Talucha is obviously there for the extended terrain. But also, not even that, it's pretty fast, and one of my favorite Pokemon, by the way. It's very fast. Love its abilities. You get Mode Breaker and Unburden. Beautiful. And Limber. Yeah, Limber. The most.
Yeah, you can't get paralyzed, man. Hey, man, you might run Limber one week. You never know. Yeah, I like.
Run against me.
I think your team is pretty decent, Trez. Your defensive core is very similar to one I had last season, which is pretty solid. Ferrothorn, Gligar, Slowbro can really work around each other defensively well.
I'm looking forward for using Drapion. I'm ready, because Drapion's a really good mon. I'm surprised no one really got a. Did anybody last season get a hold of it?
I don't think anyone really takes Drapion.
No one used it. I think I agree with you though. I think it's a really cool mon. I think it can do a lot. It can hit with a lot. It gets access to Sucker Punch for priority. It gets access to Toxic Spikes. It can absorb Toxic Spikes.
You also have all the sniper sets.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fun.
You know what? Speaking of sniper, I'm surprised no one picked up
Kingdra.
Kingdra?
Yeah, Kingdra.
Well, no one built a rain team.
I thought about Kingdra. Yeah.
We looked.
Surprisingly, there's a whole ass rain team just left.
Yeah, in the free agents right now, you could build an entire rain team. You could take Pelipper, Swampert, Tornadus, Kingdra.
But I'm looking very forward to using my team, because it's something completely different, and I'm ready to use.
Yeah, your Miltank and your Rotom are even super useful. You could bring them several times. So I think your team's pretty solid.
I'm also ready to name these guys.
Yeah, I know Roll has a couple good names in store that I think people will like. So we're just gonna move on to my team though, because I just don't want to take too long.
Mm-hmm.
My team, I got Victini, and that's all that matters. So that's pretty much all I want to say about that.
All right, beautiful. Next team.
We're gonna go on to Dunsparce. This is Chris's team. He's got a lot of steel types. And Chris is actually my week 1 matchup.
Thing.
No,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. In Zache's eyes, that is always a good thing.
You can win with 3 steel types.
No, you can absolutely. as long as one of them is Togedemaru.
Yeah.
I'm loving.
And
some
he
of the
doesn't
monsters.
have Togedemaru, so I don't know.
No, he's
Loving
got
Mega-
Skarmory, who's my second favorite. So
Yeah, I
Skarmory's
actually
awesome.
really wanted Skarmory, and he took it, so I ended up going with Scizor
yeah,
instead.
Skarm was on my list as well. That's why I
Oh,
took Empoleon.
I love the Mega Manectric. Love Tapu Fini. Loving Metagross because Metagross is a cool looking Pokemon and also pretty good. Bisharp and Gastrodon. Those are. I'm looking forward to see how he's going to use those monsters. Because
Honestly,
Nah,
Chris's
it's pretty
team
good.
was my mock-up. I made a whole plan of if I didn't get Jirachi, and it would look very, very similar to Chris's team
Yeah.
with Zygarde and Skarmory and Mega Manectric and Gastrodon specifically. Those are Mon's height.
how original.
He's got
Very.
just pointing it out, fire is not fantastic for him, similar to a problem you had last season with your 3 steel types, Zache.
Yeah,
And
but he's got Gastro.
yeah, I mean he's got Gastrodon.
Beanie and Zygarde are all good for that.
Yeah.
Ooh, Shedinja too.
It's just like when you have one or two answers to a huge weakness, as soon as those one or two get whittled down, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Speaking of getting whittled down and being in trouble, he did pick up Shedinja, who, in Draft League you think, well, what the hell is Shedinja going to do? People can just prepare for it. But unless you have a move or hazards on every single Pokemon, he could ride out the storm and then bring Shedinja in late game, and you've got nothing you can do.
Yes, Shedinja's a threat. If I believe last year, was Chris the one who also picked Pikachu?
No, that was Corey.
No, that was Corey.
Or that was Corey picked Pikachu. Okay.
I'm your man.
Um,
Sorry.
I think Chris
was
is someone
wondering.
that also takes pride in doing well, and he wants to do well, so he's got a really solid team, and he's planning to perform this offseason.
Chris,
And-
give me Finny.
And the Shedinja, I'm a fan of it. He took the Finny late because no one took Finny for some reason for a long time.
Yeah, the Tapus fell pretty far. I mean, I got Bulu in the second round around like the 21st pick or something like that.
And I mean, Finny, I think, was early fourth
Finny was
round.
after that.
Yeah.
I think so.
So he picked it up real late. He's got decent. I think he's just got a decent team. He's got lots of steel types, like I said. One thing I am going to challenge Chris to do is to run some creative sets, because last season I think he just ran ladder sets every week. I think
There was a
if
lot of ladder playing.
yeah, I think, which he's a ladder player, that's fine. But I think if he embraces the mentality of Draft League, he'll be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't just bring like a predictable ladder set. But we'll see what he does. I mean, even running the ladder sets, he made it to playoffs, so he's got a winning formula still. But
Yeah, he's always a threat.
moving on to the Caterpies. This is my friend Isaiah that we brought in.
Wow. Your friend?
Yes, my friend Isaiah that we brought in.
Our friend.
Okay.
This
That
is
Sorry,
my
I had to
friend
be like,
Isaiah.
I
who
had-
just met on Sunday.
yes, this is Zache's friend Isaiah that he brought into the league
No,
just for this
my
off-season thing. And I know what he wanted to do. He wanted to basically do what you did, Zache. He wanted Rotom Wash and Jirachi and a bunch of the stuff. But since you took Jirachi, he ended up taking Latias instead to pair with Hippo. He's a big fan of
My
Hippo.
favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huge fan of Hippo.
Hippo is
God damn it, I hate that man.
great. That's all I'm gonna say about
It's
it.
just
Hippo
it's
is
just
great.
so fat. It's so
There's
fat.
a reason why I hate it.
He's got hazard setters and some good hazard removers. He took Cobalion as his backup steel type since you took Jirachi away from him. I think
Laughs.
I spoke to him and he now realizes that his Venusaur doesn't really hold a significant place in his roster, so he might make some changes soon.
I like it though.
I mean, I like it, but
I think there's other stuff on the board that could fit just as well.
yeah, if not
Venusaur
better.
really shines in itself with a Sun team because it can run Chlorophyll.
Yep.
And if you're not running it, it's fairly bulky and it has pretty good coverage and pretty good utility moves. But there's other things on there that may benefit him more, may not. I would definitely not be super attached to Venusaur in his case.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't either. I think the biggest benefit he was getting from Venusaur is soaking up toxic spikes, and he didn't realize he had Mega Beedrill right there.
Yeah. He's also got some very good Hydreigon and Latios are both very good defoggers.
Yes.
And his team too, really, other than Beedrill and Rocks, and Darmanitan, kind of unbothered by entry hazards.
Yeah, that's one thing.
He's one of the teams where it's probably more beneficial for him to have hazards up.
Sorry.
On both sides than for him to remove hazards once Beedrill's out of the way. Because Beedrill does not like them.
Yeah, Beedrill does not like rocks, and Beedrill is someone that switches in and out a lot, so he'd be exposed to rocks a lot. Beedrill is not one to stay in once he's in. He'll be a lot of pivoting and stuff.
So he just has to watch out for rocks if he wants to keep that Beedrill out.
In terms of speed tiers, I think his team's all right.
He's got Beedrill.
So he's got Beedrill,
brings his average up by like 30 points.
I know, but the thing about that is it's a mega, so it can't hold an item. So I think you need like 80 speed and a scarf, and you outspeed a Beedrill.
This whole entire summary of Isaiah's team is mega Beedrill. That's it.
But actually, I didn't realize his Latias is still pretty fast. Cobalion's pretty quick, and then the rest is 100 or below. So he's not too fast. Hippo and Munchlax bring the speed down a little bit, so Trick Room doesn't hurt him. So I think he's good on speed tiers. So I think he could have a decent showing this season. I know he has a tough schedule. I think he faces Evan and Jacob back-to-back weeks. I know that.
Oh man, dude, he's gonna have so much fun.
And then he faces me. I think his first battle is against Cheryl. And speaking of Cheryl, her team is next.
Let's move on to her team.
Yeah, so go for it.
I like Cheryl's team a lot. Mega Dancy was actually, if it was still on the board, Mega Camerupt was the Mega in my heart I wanted the most.
Yeah.
Because I just really like it and I want to make it work. Mega Dancy was, if she was on the board when I went to pick my Mega, that was going to be the Mega I was intellectually going to pick. I think Mega Dancy is so good, and I really love playing with it. So when Cheryl took it, I was like, oh darn, but I was also like, okay, time for me to pick Camerupt now.
Yeah. I absolutely love Mega Diancie, and I love Dragonite as well. I actually like Dragonite more than Salamence. I'm not saying it's better. I just like it more. So I really like her picks. Manaphy's an interesting little addition. I think she's got a good amount of hazard. I just note hazard remove a lot because some teams have been destroyed because they didn't have enough to remove hazards. And she's got some good hazard removal.
I mean, she's got Mega Dancie's a Magic Bouncer. Volcanion Superior can both defog.
Fortress and
Fortress can both spin.
Yeah. So I think she's good on that.
I see she also got Cryonical again.
Bionicle.
Bionicle.
She's got the machine.
You know what? That's it. I was just thinking Bionicle for whatever reason. Cryonicle. Cheryl, actually, if you could do me a favor and name it that.
Yeah, she should name Bionicle. Okay. Then
she
don't.
also picked up Virizion, who's a Pokemon I had last season, who took a special place in my heart. Number one, you got to use Shiny Virizion. It's pink. It looks so much better. But Virizion is, I think, a super underrated mon, especially in this format. It has a really great move pool. It has access to Calm Mind and Swords Dance. It has 129 special defense.
Yeah.
108 speed is a fantastic speed tier to be in. And I used it for a while as my Zmon. We only have the one Zmon. And it really can bring a lot of surprise sets that do a lot of damage to certain things. So I would keep an eye out on that Virizion.
Absolutely.
I think that's a really powerful Pokemon.
I also really like the Talonflame pickup. I want to see her do some fun stuff with Talonflame.
I love Talonflame.
Quagsire over some of our boys. I'm not going to say it, but, you're going to take Quagsire over the boys.
Nobody picked Seismitoad.
No Seismitoad and no Swampert.
No Seismitoad, dude.
I know, no Seismitoad. I think Cheryl just valued the Unaware on Quagsire. That's gotta be it.
Unaware is great.
Anyway.
I think that's it for teams, right?
No. Well.
No, we talked about.
Look at Dan's rain team.
Well, yeah,
that's the worst rain team of all time.
Yeah,
0 out of
Pokemon
10.
have
2
access
thumbs
to
down.
any rain.
Does
I
Primarina
cannot
can't
believe
rain
he built
dance?
a rain team. I don't know. Primarina might be able to rain dance.
You see, you like his Dragalge here in the middle?
Yeah, Dragalge.
Yeah,
There.
this Dragalge here is gonna take off. I think definitely. The best part is I'm pretty sure Dragalge is also misspelled, but we still love you, Jacob.
But yeah, Dan surprised us all after talking about rain teams from, I don't know, he's been talking about rain teams for the entirety of his life, and then he picked the sand team.
Well, I'm just going to point that he did not surprise us all because every single mock team he had an Excadrill. Every single
I didn't play any mocks
one.
against him.
I remember second season, he really wanted Excadrill.
All I really want to say about Dan's team is hold this Earthquake. And that's about it.
Yeah, he's got Chestnut and Thundurus.
Yeah, and then one Chestnut. Thundurus is not bulky to begin with, so it'll get whittled down. I'll set up some rocks, and Thundurus will die in a couple switch-ins. So once Chestnut goes down, what are you doing?
Again, this is a team I would
Durant,
say has
that's
a
the best
major Mamoswine weakness. He is able to hit every single Pokemon on this roster except for Durant super effectively.
Yeah.
So just carry HP Fire on your
who is Mammo again?
Mamoswine is on the Typhlosions. I think that's Greg's team.
Yeah, Greg, use Mamoswine to take down Jacob and Dan.
I really love his I really that he liked that. Oh my god, English. I like that he picked Durant.
Yeah.
Durant's really good.
I'm just waiting for him to try to use Durant without using Hone Claws and then missing a bunch and then getting mad about it.
And saying this game, it just haxes everything.
Yeah.
That's his backup plan.
And that'll be like his thing. But swiftly moving on from teams, I just want to take a quick look at week 1 matchups and see how everyone feels about them. We might just make some quick predictions and then say why. So our very first match here, we have Jacob and the Stantlers versus Raul and the Ludicolo's. Raul, what is your prediction and why?
I think my prediction is that I'm actually going to land the move I want to use and not get completely swept. But I feel like he's going to end up getting the upper hand
vague
here.
Analysis.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to disclose anything, I guess.
I think he's going to end up winning this week because of his team. Look at his team.
All right, love the confidence.
Well, I could just say like, oh man, it's definitely going to be. But if I'm really going to be
on
his
team,
team,
oh man, it's definitely going to be Raul. Moving on, Zach. How do you feel?
Okay, I feel about Raul and Jacob. I think Jacob's going to beat Raul.
Yeah, me too.
All right, moving on to the next match.
Vote
of confidence.
Dunsparce versus Hoopas. I'm definitely going to win this match, 100%. Look out for all my low tier stuff.
I'm actually gonna go for the underdog here. Let's go, Chris. Woo!
I wouldn't really say either of them are
underdogs.
Underdog is a strong. Yeah, this is a good matchup.
You know what? I apologize. That was God damn it! I felt like an ass now.
Okay, go ahead, Zet.
I'm thinking Victini 6-0s. I don't know why. I didn't even look at his team. That's what I want to believe. Oh, I do. He does have that massive fire weakness.
Yes, he does.
So I do think that Victini's going to do a decent amount of work.
Yeah. There we go. I can use that for my backup.
He has a massive fire weakness, and one of his answers to fire is Finny, and Victini happens to get some electric moves.
But I'm still going for Chris. Chris, I know you got some. I know you can do something.
Okay.
You got this.
Weedles versus Caterpies.
So,
dude, that's like the ultimate rivalry.
Honestly, yeah, we're setting this up to be.
Looking at them, they match up really well.
I know. So we're actually setting this up to be a good rivalry, and I actually think this will be a good matchup as well.
This looks like This one's really hard for me to call. Every good Mon has a really good answer to it on the other team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll come down to I'm gonna give the edge to Cheryl because of experience.
Yes, So these are the two teams here. I might give the edge to Cheryl as well, just because of experience, like you said. I think Isaiah may, learn his team for the first couple weeks and then realize, what he's got to do with it. And Cheryl has some decent things to take down a Hippo. So I think
she's got
Yeah.
two of the better Hippo counters in the game.
And I think Isaiah might lean on Hippo a little too much week 1, so we'll see. So I'm going to take Cheryl, but narrowly. A narrow win for Cheryl.
I'm going to say it's going to be a close battle, and Cheryl's going to end up winning.
Scyther and Entei.
Scyther and Entei.
So that's Nick versus Dan. It's like, I don't want to give Dan credit, but Nick's team...
Nick does have an Earthquake user in Buzzwole.
Yeah.
This is actually really
that gives him the edge.
Because you got, like, he has all psychic, most psychic on his team, and then you got somebody who's scared of earthquakes.
Yeah.
So
Nick's gonna bring Earthquake, and Dan's gonna bring Shadow Ball. And we're gonna see which breaks first.
Dan does have a very cohesive team, and I think until Nick can get some of his roster problems ironed out, I really think Dan has an edge in the matchup just because his team will be fairly effortless to pilot week 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Dan.
This is gonna be the learning curve for everyone. So just the ability to run a sand team week 1, you know how it's going to run. Dan's been doing a lot of preparation for stuff. I really think Dan can pull this one out.
Yeah, same. Moving on to the Quillfishes versus the Fearos. So that's Ian versus David. So David was a member of this league in the past, and I've heard that he had found some success, so we're expecting him to be pretty skilled. But he's the one that has a lot of physical attackers, and I don't really know that Ian has any crazy physical walls. So it's an interesting matchup.
He's got some good physically defensive Pokemon, though. Milotic, you can run.
Yeah,
you could run that with what is it, Marvel Scale?
Yeah, with a Flame Orb or something.
Yeah, to boost the defense. Sylveon can take a hit. Garchomp you can run as a really good defensive tank set. Mega Scizor you can invest almost entirely in bulk.
Yeah. Honestly, you could run.
Mesprit has some good bulk.
If Ian comes into this in like mid-season form, I think Ian takes this personally. I think Garchomp would be a really fun check to Mega Pinsir and Landorus and stuff. It'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say
and Scizor can combat Mega Pinsor's his priority.
Yeah.
With Aerial 8 Quick Attack. But I don't think it'll be an easy matchup regardless.
No.
I'm going to take Ian just because I know Ian more and I like his team. But, never know. David could definitely pull that one out.
I'm going to say Fearos.
Okay. I feel it.
Because I don't know how he plays, but I got a feeling that he's I got a feeling that he's going to show, like, where his money is. God damn it, that was bad.
Okay. You got a feeling he's going to do well. Okay.
We're skipping
this. Yeah, we're going to move on. Your final...
Raul, that's where his money is.
What's your final thoughts on this, Zach, on this matchup?
Oh, man.
This is another one. I haven't seen David battle, and I think he's got a lot of power on his team. He's got a lot of the physical strength, and I think Ian's got the tools to counteract that physical strength, so I'm going to have to give it to Ian.
Yeah. Next match is Jake and the Pick-a-Pecks versus you, Zache.
I don't have a counter to Pick-a-Peck. I'm getting 6-0'd.
Yeah, I actually am also making that prediction because I don't think you have anything that can counter Pick-a-Peck and Solrock. Yeah.
I can't get them both, yeah.
The ultimate
so that's a 6-0. That's an easy loss for me.
It was kind of similar to like how people had to try to find an answer to both Magearna and Ash Greninja on your team last year. And like once
this is harder though.
Yeah, no, this is harder even. But like once you do find some way to handle it, then the rest of the team takes off.
Then I beat you with Hippodon.
Yeah, so you're gonna focus on the real threats of Solrock and Pick-a-Peck, and then his Salamence is gonna come out of nowhere or something.
Right. It'll surprise me.
And then the final matchup of week 1 is Evan and the Sneasels versus his friend Greg and the Typhlosions. I think it's generally a safe bet to just bet on Evan early on, especially with someone who's never. I like Greg's team against him. Yeah.
Evans does have the unpredictability and the cohesiveness. Then Greg's has more of he picked best mon available. But it works out. Mega Tyranitar doesn't like Lopunny well.
At all.
Celesteela really works well against Kartana. Latios counters a lot of these mons as well. I think this one just looking matchup-wise, is favorable towards Greg.
Yeah, they both have
However,
spiders with webs, so that's nice.
you can just
Yes.
slow everyone down. But then, yeah, there was also the point you brought up, though. It's foolish to vote against Evan in the regular season, I would say.
Yeah.
He usually comes off with 1 or 2 losses, if that many, and I just don't know how many of them are going to be week 1.
Yeah. I think Evan has spent a very long time building this team as well. As soon as he was out of the playoffs, he got right back to work building new teams. So I think he has a lot of ideas for this team. I think, so just saying this, I think Greg will be a very good competitor in this league, but I think Greg has one of the toughest matchups to start the league. So
Greg is definitely he's going to be a good competitor, like you said, in the league. But I'm going to have to side with Evan winning this week because I do believe that he talked about how he wants to make some change-ups, Greg, to his team.
I think Greg just has like a fetish for trading. I don't know. He's talked about how much he just wants to trade things just for the sake of
I'm
trading.
someone who loves a good trade, but I don't think this is the season I'm going to be pulling off any big trades, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I
kind
of that's what the reason why I say Evan, because it seems like Greg's not really that confident with this team.
Yeah, we'll see. But that's the last matchup of week 1. I think we'll be having kind of weekly things where we kind of come in, talk about the matches, any trades that happen, and like maybe any really fun sets that we saw that week. But I think that's going to do it for this week's little episode. We ended up...
Yeah, we kept it nice and short for you.
Yeah, just over an hour. So
wow.
Grab your popcorn. We'll tell you once it's over to grab some popcorn. But yeah.
Okay. And maybe we'll
put that in the description.
Maybe we'll be
grab some popcorn. It's long.
We'll probably do things a lot quicker, a lot better, and maybe I'll know actually what the hell I'm saying.
Oh, it'll be quicker. It's gonna be worse.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have Evan and Dan in the future, so there's just gonna be 4 of us trying to talk to each other all the time. So, anyway, I'm gonna sign off before this gets even longer. You guys want to say bye?
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody. I love you all. Make sure you stay hydrated.
See ya.